a question has come up as to whether or not there is such a thing as a newsletter on the California Energy Commission website that is capable of modifying code on the fly. In other words, before the next code cycle documents are released. That's a good question. Let's have a look. We see that they have a newsletter that appears on the splash page, the home page for the Commission, and you're looking at it here, apparently. And it doesn't look like there's anything of tremendous import. It is nice. Under milestones, they have the new energy efficiency standards are out, and if you look at the tool tip here, clicking this link will take you right to the 2016 standards that went into effect January 1st, 2017. However, this is not the one we're interested in. I can never find it, so I'm printing in Blueprint in the search pane, and let's search for it. And here we find the Blueprint newsletter, and let's bring that up. And the current issue is number 118, and it covers the first 2 months of 2017. These come out every 2 months. And my question was, what is in here that is of particular interest to acceptance test technicians, or designers, or commissioning agents, or lighting controls specifiers, or in fact building inspectors? Is there anything? Well, as it turns out, there is. And also evidence that code can be modified by the description of that code that appears in the Blueprint newsletter. So let's take a look at these. Now, I took a few notes, so let's have a look. I went down through issue 113, which is from basically spring of last year, 2016, where we find a description of section 141 shown in that newsletter. So let's have a look at that and see, does that really change anything? So down here we find issue 113 and click it to open it. And I have these all on my hard drive, so we'll go ahead and just take them off the hard drive after this one to speed things up. Let's make it a little bigger so we can read it. And it says, page 2, I believe, demand response and controls for additions and alterations, which is section 141 stuff. Okay. If you're altering an enclosed space that's greater than 10,000 square feet, you subtract all the spaces involved with it with a lighting power density of 0.0 watts per square foot and take that off the 10,000 square feet. And they're referencing section 130.1e. Section 130.1e is open to interpretation and doesn't really say this. It doesn't say subtract spaces with 0.5 watt per square foot out of spaces greater than 10,000 square feet when they are altered. Let's see what it does say. It says, lighting power in buildings larger than 10,000 square feet shall be capable of being automatically reduced in response to a demand responsive signal. Now remember, this is the 2013 code. All it says about less than 0.5 watt per square foot is that those spaces shall not be counted toward the building's total lighting power. It doesn't say, it says you can exclude that wattage off the building's total lighting power, but it does not say that you can exclude those spaces' square footage off the size of the building. So the explanation in Blueprint Newsletter 113 is actually modifying this code and in fact making it look like the 2016 version of the code, which we will look at here. And you'll notice that the wording has been changed to buildings larger than 10,000 square feet, excluding spaces with a lighting power density of 1/2 watt per square foot or less. In other words, you will subtract these areas off of the 10,000 square feet to see if demand response is required for your project. That's the way it stood in 2013. I'm sorry, that's the way it is in 2016, but in 2013, it simply stated that you would not count the lighting power in those areas under 1/2 watt per square foot. So, this explanation is basically modifying the 2013 code. They would consider it clarifying it, and it could use clarification. If you look even at the new version of it, they use undefined terms, total lighting power, total installed lighting power. Thought it used to say full output somewhere, but those are undefined terms. The correct term would be 15% below the design full output, which is the way it's shown on the form for acceptance testing. So let's just put that away. We've seen 113. I think that's the only thing in 113 of interest to us. Issue 114 was another biggie, and I almost stopped there. Let's look at issue 114 if we can. Yep. 114 actually states that 141 has been changed, but it was not changed simply by publishing in the newsletter. In fact, here's a new table that goes in the code, and this would be found in the 2016 code. Here they are telling you that this has been adopted, and here's your new option as to whether as to certain controls requirements for alterations. So at the very least, if something has been changed in the code through some kind of official action prior to another code change occurring, it will appear in this Blueprint newsletter. So that's why it's so important to pay attention to the Blueprint newsletter, because we're on 118, and in 113 and 114 I was able to find things that do literally modify the code. So next week we'll take a look at recent things of interest in the Blueprint newsletter. I'm just going to go through these things and find everything that has anything to do with lighting that might be of interest to engineers, designers, control specifiers, and whatnot, and we'll take a look at them really briefly, and then we'll figure out how to sign up for the newsletter so that we get it in our email, and we know that the new one has come out and that we need to take a look at it.